Hey, Dr. Mike here. Is red light therapy for hair loss a scam? Well, stay tuned to find out.
You're listening to Live Foreverish, a show dedicated to helping you live just a little longer. Here's your hosts, Dr. Mike and Dr. Crystal Gossard.
All right, welcome to Live Foreverish. Dr. Crystal.
Yes.
When we were going to do this, we were doing this show, putting it together, I was a little skeptical about red light therapy and hair loss. All those commercials with those guys wearing the helmets.
Oh, for sure. I thought it was all.
I mean, it looks funky.
Make believe.
Yeah. Guess what? It's a real deal
real.
thing. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. We found, Dr. Crystal and I did a lot of research into this, found a whole bunch of stuff. And we're going to summarize some of that for you today. But I just wanted to answer the teaser right off the get-go.
Yeah.
Safe and effective red light therapy. So let's start first with, what technically is red light therapy?
Yeah, it's just also known as, I'll maybe give the other names, photobiomodulation, also known as low-level laser therapy. And it's providing the lower energy wavelength of the visible light spectrum.
Right, which is red light.
And which is, red light. That visible light spectrum ranges from blue,
purple,
green, yellow, orange,
all the way
red.
down to red.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Or purple, I guess would be like.
Now, what's interesting about this is your purples and blues and stuff like that, right? They have a shorter wavelength and they're more energetic. Mm-hmm. You go down the spectrum, it's wider wavelengths and less energetic. But when you look at the research, the red light is what penetrates deeper into the scalp.
Yes.
And that's part of the benefit, because when it really gets down in there, it's able to stimulate stem cells. Mm-hmm. It's able to activate mitochondria for more energy.
Yeah.
There's even some evidence about not just making more oxygen, more energy. It's provides more vessels. I'll get it out here in a second.
Angiogenesis.
Thank you. It was coming.
That's okay. That's what we're a team, Dr. Mike.
Angiogenesis. So when you put all that together, that's healthier follicles that last longer, and hair growth.
Yeah, and because it's lower energy, it's not associated with it's not like UV, which is a higher energy type of wavelength, not associated with causing like skin burns and skin cancer and things like that.
Yeah. So when we first started looking into this, the first thing that I came across was that review, that meta-analysis.
The 36
of 36
trials.
clinical trials, almost 1,000 patients. I think 906. I have it here somewhere. 966 patients. And this was testing red light therapy in various ways. Sometimes red light versus a sham, maybe red light versus a drug, whatever that was. The end of the day, red light therapy stood its ground. It was increasing hair density, improving hair growth, improving scalp health across the board.
Yes, and yes, I like that you share that it's compared against what's typically considered the standard of treatment for hair loss. So all the different medications, different strengths of, like, for example, minoxidil. There's the 2%, the 5% concentration, and you're seeing that it is effective, comparable to those, which has given it the FDA kind of approval for many of these devices that you can use at home.
Well, the minoxidil one's right here. This was really interesting, right? And at least when it came to terminal hair counts, red light therapy was superior.
Yes.
Statistically speaking, superior to 2% and 5% minoxidil.
And that's really nice because, when you look at the 2% minoxidil, it was, superior. The 5% superior. I'm just looking at this data to make sure I'm saying this right, because depending on the percentage, there may have been kind of equal efficacy, and then when you go up the percentage, then you're seeing that the red light therapy kind of improved based on the 5%.
Yeah, again, a nice review.
Yes. I'm totally confused. Everyone listening.
No, you did. Everything. No, it's at the end of the day, and it again, we started this with the teaser. Is it a scam?
Yeah.
Because maybe they should work on the helmet because it looks funny when people wear this thing.
Well,
not only is it a big, like huge helmet. It's like you can see red all around. Like I wish, because you look at that and you're like, oh, come on.
Well, you need that.
I know, but when you look at it, it's like, do something to the helmet. Make it, I don't know, do something.
I don't know. I think all kind of the nerdy people, I want to see the action, like the mechanisms that's going into it. And so I think I'm okay. I think the ball cap looks a little dorky. Like if you're just going to,
They
if
all
you're going
kind
to
of look
do
dorky.
it,
They all look dorky.
then just give me a helmet, but don't try to camouflage it as a ball cap.
And the good news is you can wear those inside. You can wear them while you're cooking, while you're watching TV, whatever. So it's not like you have to go out with that kind of stuff. We'll get into some of the other devices in a little later on the show. But we can't once we talk about efficacy, we got to talk about safety. And you already kind of hint on this because it's the weaker energy wavelength, right? It's not going to do the same damage as UV and some of the like blues and purples, which are really. Did I even tell you something? I remember once. It's a little tangent, but it's how I always, when I was a little kid in school, how I remembered the visible spectrum. Not that Voybij or whatever. Which was more energetic. I learned that when you look up at a night sky and you look at a star, if it's twinkling purple and blue, that's a hot star. If it's twinkling more white or or even reddish, that's not as hot of a star.
Interesting.
You're gonna check me on this, aren't you?
No, it's funny since you did your tangent. I always thought about fire. Like I always thought, like when the fire's really blue, that it's hot.
That's that fire
really,
right by the coals or right by the log.
Yeah.
It doesn't get orange and red until the top.
Right.
Yeah, it's interesting.
So just another example.
That's great. Yours is okay. All right. So is it safe? At the end of the day, because of all that, all those little tangents we went through, it is safe. When side effects do occur, they are rare, less than 10% of patients throughout the studies. It's tolerable, temporary. People really don't have much of an issue with it. And really no severe adverse events have ever been reported.
Yeah, and to me, that's great because sometimes you think about what's happening, what's really happening here. We have been programmed to think that any kind of light can potentially be problematic.
Yeah,
on the light spectrum. We talk about the blue light and sleep and you
don't
can't
look at the sun
and so just seeing that this targeted light therapy can just activate those mitochondria, I think is fascinating.
In a safe way. In a safe way. A big question that you'll find with all this, and I'm sure some of the listening audience or watching audience, we're on YouTube at the same time in case you didn't know, how long is this going to take? Right? We all know. We're instant gratification culture. We've been like this for a long time.
Yeah.
It's nothing new. It's getting worse.
Yes, and so with this is a marathon.
Yeah. Take your
not
time.
Not a sprint.
It's if you go by the studies, just to start to beginning to see results. I'm not saying complete results, 12 to 24 weeks.
Yep. And then, of course, we need more clinical using the different devices, but that's a nice time frame to see something. Like you have to kind of think about the hair growth cycle. It's a slow cycle.
We weren't going to go through that, but there's several little steps that have to. There's a growth phase. There's a phase where it's not. There's a die-off phase, and then and then it starts over. But each phase can last. I don't remember I think the growth phase is a few weeks, right, or something. Or
I don't know.
I don't remember, but it's
exact time.
The cycle takes long. So you have to just be compliant, wear your helmet or your hat, whatever you want to do. While you're cooking, cleaning, whatever, and just be patient with it.
Yeah, I would say give it some time. But what's really interesting when you look at, there's this one study that compared think it was 4 at-home devices. And what the researchers found when they would bring the participants in for their evaluation, they all thought that like it's not working. This is like nothing's really happening. They weren't seeing the hair growth. And so they used 3 different, like in these studies to determine is it working. They use the patient questionnaire. So the patient give their feedback. Do I think it's working? And then the researchers they have the people evaluating the hair to say, okay, we think it's working. Of course, the pictures, the before and after pictures. And then there's this outside body that will look at the pictures like
almost just subjectively,
impartial, subjectively.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that looks like more or something.
To see, and what they found is often the patient, they don't think that it's working, but the researchers, the objective reviewer sees that it's working, and they have these fancy gadgets now where they can really look at the scalp, and they're seeing that the scalp is healthier.
Yeah.
It's just awesome.
When they do that, they can even get down. So we know it's not new, but because of all that technology, they can measure hairs per centimeter squared. That's density.
Yes.
And so there's objective data that's showing, no, this is working. You may not see it or be happy yet, but there is data here showing that, and they can also do strength testing, pull test, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So
I would say hang in there. I think that's the point. Hang in there. It takes time. You may not visibly notice it, but give it some time.
Yeah. Now, ideal candidates for this, most people that are helped are the ones that have the most common type of hair loss, which is the testosterone hormonal type. It's called androgenic alopecia. And if you're early to mid stage, if you've been completely bald, Robson, you don't have to listen to this.
Oh my goodness.
If you've been completely bald for 20 years, you can still try it. It's safe, but your scalp might get healthier, which is good.
Right.
But
I think
hair growth,
that's good too.
Yeah. Hair growth, I'm not so sure. Post-hair transplant patients do well with this.
And
which
is a big thing now.
Yeah, and then there's a stress-related kind of hair loss. It's called telogen type, and that may be second. What are you laughing? I know you're laughing. That's fine. I'll pick on you next time.
I'm laughing at him because it's a tricky word to pronounce.
Well,
and I gave him a look.
Effluvium.
That's it.
Yeah. It's just when you're doing a podcast, you want to keep things moving. When you have to stop and go telogen, effluvia, it just doesn't flow, Dr.
It just
Grissom.
makes us human, Dr. Mike. Our listeners have to know that
we're human.
We're human beings.
Yeah, we're human. Again, how often do you have to use it? Again, now it depends on the device too, right? With this question, because you had mentioned there are maybe I can't remember. You said helmets or caps or whatever, but some might be every day. Some might be just 3 to 4 times a week.
Right. It all depends on like how many of those red light little dials are in there. Like some may have 12, another one may have 50.
Yeah.
So it's really
Depends
some of them just are hitting it and give you a lot of that red light at one time. So then that will determine how often you should use it and for how long. So it's really just based on the device that you purchased.
The manufacturer suggested amount, right? Yeah. Now, there's at-home versus office devices. And when we say office, we're talking about at your doctor's. I think overall, there's no real head-to-head comparisons, right? We have to keep that in mind, or it's limited, right? So we can't say doctor's office is better than at home, because we do know that a lot of that research came from at-home devices.
Right.
So I think they're fine. I think you have you mentioned too, and I'm going to bring this up. If you really are bald, that's your caps and your helmets are going to be good for that. Or if you have a big patch or something, right? Because you need that red light to touch the scalp.
Exactly.
But if you're just thinning in hair, those may not be as good as maybe, I think you said a brush or a comb.
Yeah, a brush or a comb that can kind of really get down and get to the scalp. And like that light needs to penetrate the scalp. There's even variations in hair. This is like a whole nother thing. But in like how your hair, if you have curly hair versus straight hair, the curly hair, like my hair, imagine trying to get red light all the way down to my scalp. I mean, it's like practically impossible.
If you put a helmet on, it would be this high, like the bottom of it would be this high off your head.
Exactly. So all of that needs to be taken into account. Like if you have like thinning edges or something like that, you need a comb that can get to
it makes sense.
The scalp. So you kind of also have to look at
who you are, what you're going through, hair type, what level you're at, all that kind of stuff. Another interesting topic here is types of skin.
Yes.
Right. Skin types. So most of your at-home, correct me if I'm wrong, because I know you did some research in this. Most at-home devices are great for skin types of 1 through 4.
Correct.
So I'm Mediterranean. And if I just have normal days in the sun, I'm probably 3.
You're 3. You're close to a 4,
Maybe
Dr.
even
Mike.
close to a 4.
I mean, a 4 would probably be more like maybe my daughter. Who's,
it's hard to tell with my makeup on.
Yeah, but you're about a 3.
Yeah, 3 to 4. Now, if I get out in that sun, you've seen me a few times, and I don't burn. It's a dark thing. Anyways, 1 to 4, from pale to a Mediterranean, lighter. Black, brown type thing. You said you're now.
I'm about a 5.
So that means skin types 5 and 6. So there's 6 total, right?
Well, no, it can, but in research you typically see up to 6, but you have some of
it could go higher, yeah. But just looking at you, if people on YouTube, that's a 5.
Yeah.
So that we thought would be better for the doctor's office.
Yes, you need to go to the doctor's office to make sure their device is effective for your skin.
There you go. Red light therapy. It's not a scam. Safe and effective in-home or at office. Helmets, caps,
wands,
brushes. I don't know what.
There are all kinds. There's like headband.
Yeah, there's all kinds of stuff. Just got to figure out which one's best for you. Follow
Just
it.
make
be
sure
compliant.
it's FDA approved.
FDA approved. These are certified.
They
have to be certified. I think their claims have to be correct with the FTC. The CDC plays a role, isn't? No, not the CDC. Who was that group? I can't remember that more. Anyways, these are all looked at. Just make sure you're getting a good one. And if you check with your doctor.
Yeah.
Ask them. But yeah, go for it.
I would say go for it.
At liveforeverish.com. We have a ton of other episodes you can download, like, share, and comment. And, of course, subscribe so you never miss a show. And give us a ranking. We'd love those reviews and rankings. That's really important now.
Yes.
Yeah, we got to do that.
And tell us who you are and give us some questions.
Yeah.
And again, I always say this. We'll feature your question, our fan of the week.
Oh, I kind of like that. Our sponsor, Life Extension, go to lifeextension.com. They want to say thank you. Use the discount code podcast, and you'll get 10% off $50 or more, plus free shipping and handling over at lifeextension.com. Listen, I thought this was great. I'm thinking I got some friends who I'm going to recommend this for.
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Why not?
Why not? Yeah.
Good Christmas present.
Yeah, they're a little skeptical. Yeah.
Birthday present.
Yeah. Because I give good health.
Make sure they want to grow their hair, Dr. Mike. Don't go getting someone who's finally they've accepted the fact that they are going bald, and here you are with this device.
I have something for you. You need help in your life. I'm Dr. Mike. That's
Dr. Crystal.
Thanks for listening.